Hello and welcome back to Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with my beautiful mother,
Sandy Reevy.
This is episode 21,
Woo-woo!
Filmed on December 4th, 2018, and we are going direct. So in the transits we have coming up, Sun square Neptune.
Take a day off.
Mercury stations direct.
Have you come to a conclusion yet?
New moon in Sagittarius.
Up, up, and away.
Mars conjunct Neptune.
Be selfless and not selfish.
Then coming up in talisman times, we have our Jupiter in Sagittarius. Malas and bracelets are live on the site.
Last week I said 0 talismans. I actually made one. The moon conjunct the fixed star Regulus, which is for a great deal of success. And then I have the new moon in Sagittarius, which we'll talk about, but I'll be grabbing that on Friday the 7th to increase optimism and personal growth.
Awesome. So on the horizon, we have coming up this Friday, the beginning of our winter solstice constellation bracelet workshop, which is all sold out. However, we're opening up dates for March 7th. Our last call for the Mexico retreat is happening this week, as well as the Bali announcement is happening today, this week.
Yeah, so if you're going to miss Mexico, pull into Bali.
We'll see you in Bali. Our house, we have one of our listeners, Sandy, is going
Heather. I'm going to talk about Heather's chart.
Sandy also is on the A list now with a Jupiter-Saturn transit. And I personally finally resolved my car break-in.
And we also have a story about Mercury retrograde.
Beautiful. So this is what's coming up in this episode of Astrological Intentions.
Stay tuned.
You got the keys. You got the keys. You got the keys. You got the keys.
Hey, Mom.
Hi, Alex.
I'm home.
I know, and I'm happy to have you here.
Yes, it is so great to be stateside. Hi, everybody from this time zone in Chicago. And it's just been a wonderful, welcoming time being back home for the holidays.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. So we have been getting so many reviews, so many wonderful messages from you all, and we decided to make a little segment of all of our feedback, all of our reviews, all of our, shout outs, and it is called Going Direct. That makes sense.
I've got something to say about that later.
Okay. So this segment, we're just going to be shouting out to the people who are giving us love, giving us their feedback.
Giving us 5 stars.
Of course. Us only the 5 stars. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's all we have, right?
So yeah, we reached a milestone this week. We reached over 2,000 downloads. So 2,009 downloads on our podcast.
When we just started this 21 weeks ago, to see how this was going to play, if we were going to enjoy this, if this was going to be fun, if we could actually fit it into our schedule.
Right.
And we are enjoying the heck out of this.
It is.
Yeah.
For me, it winds up being a little bit easier than writing emails and, just being on the wave, these wavelengths it's nice.
It's easier now that we're not traveling so crazy busy.
And we're finally getting used to our own voices, which has been
Actually, I was sitting with my dad over Thanksgiving and I said, Dad, you want to check out what I'm doing? And he's like, this sounds really professional. I'm like, yeah, Dad, we have thanks to our producer and his whole setup here in the studio with our headsets and our microphones. And I actually, because it is such a great quality, that I like my voice now. For the first time in 62 years, I like to listen to my voice.
It's awesome.
So thank you over there.
And apparently,
Aaron over there.
2,000 downloads that like it too. Nice. So I first wanted to give a shout out to Wendy R. She posted up on our Apple podcast page with a review. And she says, I cannot say enough wonderful things about these two remarkable and amazing women. Their insights and information have proven invaluable to me time and time again regarding my children, family, my own personal pursuits, and understanding the world around me. Their astrological knowledge is combined with intuition and optimistic, grounded information. So fun and so interesting. I recommend this podcast to all my friends.
Yay, Wendy. Thank you. Thank you.
And we also have Marcia, 22. She writes, absolutely love this mother-daughter team and their approach to bringing astrology to those of us who have no background. They are personable and offer great advice. Can't wait to actually have my chart read by Sandy sometime.
Anytime.
And maybe I'll bring back our little offer at the end of this episode for all you podcast listeners. So make sure to get that because Sandy never discounts her readings.
Nope.
So stay tuned to the end of this episode.
I like this new Going Direct little segment because now I'm all fired up, right? I just got a lot of accolades and adoration, and my Leo rising appreciates it.
Right. And
so
we also,
thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you guys. Also, shout out to Stu, who it was just, I mean, there's just so many synchronicities when we're in this realm of astrology and symbolism and all of these things. And when I was in England this past week, coming to you guys live from London town, I was talking about my work with Joe Dispenza, and I was the team lead of the Ivory Owls. And of course, Stu messages us on Instagram shortly after that, being like, oh my gosh, stop it right now. I can't believe your podcast is just speaking to me, because he said that he had already figured out his appointment for his totem, his animal totem tattoo. And he went and sent us the picture of this animal that he was going to be tattooing on his body. And it's already on. And guess what it was? Hoo-hoo, hoo-hoo. It was an owl.
Yes.
So absolutely so crazy.
Yeah,
and
you can't make this up.
Stu, it looked pretty big, so I hope it didn't hurt too bad. So let us know.
Yeah, send us a picture.
So you all can go direct to. We give shout outs to all of our followers who write us reviews, send us emails and Instagram posts. So we would love to hear from you. So go on to Apple Review, go on to Instagram, and we'll see you there. Then we have our next segment, In the Transits.
So this is the big stuff. Yeah. So in the transits, this starts tomorrow, Wednesday, December 5th. We have the Sun square Neptune. So there's a square. This is a 90 degrees. This actually happens at 4:22 p.m. Again, we're Central Time here. And I titled this to take a day off. Low energy. We're not going to be full of optimism, of confidence, of really doing anything important. So it's not a good time to make decisions. In fact, watch the truth versus the untruth. So watch deceit from you or from others. Because if the sun,
That's
sun
the
is
Neptune energy coming in to make it deceitful.
The sun is, our personal essence. It's, the ego, the self, right? And it's square 90 degrees to the planet. This happens twice a year to the planet Neptune. And so Neptune can bring inspiration, can bring compassion, can bring artistry, but it's square. So that means a little conflict. 90 degrees is like a intersection, and one's coming one way, and it's like getting T-boned. And so that really is about conflict and stress. So really low energy Wednesday, tomorrow. It's okay. So take the day off, or, take a bathtub.
Of course, I say take a bubble bath. But yeah, so talk to me a little bit more about Neptune.
Well, Neptune is the planet with, no boundaries. And so things can get confusing because we can't see clearly. And so when we hear...
And Neptune rules Pisces.
Right. And it's in Pisces. Right? So
double duty.
Well,
okay.
I mean, Neptune's been in Pisces probably for 8 years, and it has another good 8 years to go. So we've gotten, jiggy with that. And certainly anybody that is a Pisces, will have the planet that rules their sun sign, if your sun is in Pisces, through this like 16-year span. And so, you had yours about a year and a half ago. I won't get mine till the very end because I'm a 29-degree Pisces. But
So that'll be another 8 years.
right, it's not for a while. But the sun in a square to Neptune in the sky, it gives a little bit of what's real and what's not real. And so it will be easier to be deceitful, to be telling lies, to not be honest. And so
But
just
also
pay attention.
Neptune rules the fantasy world, imagination. So maybe when you do take the day off, go see a matinee. Go play hooky and see a matinee of, a musical.
And to be aware of it. When somebody's like, I promise this, I promise I did this or I did that, you may not, you just kind of hold on that and just say, we'll check in next week. Because the sun's moving fast. The sun moves, we know, a degree a day. So this is when it's perfected. I mean, this is already occurring today. Tomorrow it'll be spot on. And then by Thursday, it'll start separating so that this energy will start kind of flowing away. So it's just a low energy period. It's, you're not going to want to do a whole lot. Although I start my readings tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Mystical readings.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a square. So then the next day on Thursday.
Yeah, Mercury stationing direct.
Yes, Mercury
We like
stationing
that.
direct.
We like
finally.
that.
In Scorpio at 27 degrees. And this happens at 3:22 p.m. Central. And so, have you come to a conclusion yet? Might have been a little early for me to have written that. But, that review period that we've had for the last 3 weeks. And remember, Mercury went stationed retrograde the same day that Venus stationed direct. So we had Venus moving forward and we're like, oh, that's over. And then Mercury goes, and went reverse.
Yeah.
So it's like, and these are two personal planets.
Right.
These are both the attendants to the sun. So it really said, okay, now the way I see my relationship, the way I see my self-worth, the Venus, Mercury went retrograde. So this review period is over, starting tomorrow. You'll begin to integrate your ideas, your thoughts into your daily life. Now, on December 12th, we'll talk more about this when time comes, but it moves into the sign of Sagittarius, where the sun, the moon, Mercury will now be there. So all the planets are kind of combining into, because they don't move too far away from the sun.
They're going on a retreat together.
They're going far, far away.
Yeah.
But remember that the Mercury is still in its shadow period until December 24th.
And what does that mean?
So a shadow period means that there's a section of degrees of a sign that Mercury had already crossed and already moved into. Then when the planet retrogrades and it repeats the path backwards over what it had just crossed, and now it stations direct, it's going to, for this third time, cross that same degrees. And that's called the shadow period.
Okay.
So it's crossing into the shadow. It's already been there. It's just now got to trace back over because it, forgot something and had to go backwards. Cool. So, the shadow period.
That just gave me a little visual of, do you remember in Mary Poppins when the shadow just starts dancing, right. Along with him?
How did you know?
That's the shadow period.
How did you know that that's my gift for our whole family to go see the new Mary Poppins when we go to Christmas?
That's awesome. I had no idea.
Don't tell anybody because that's my gift.
Well, it's now on the radio station. There you go.
But anyway,
we'll see who in our family
is listening
and listens to that.
So start to integrate those thoughts into your daily life. And then once the shadow period, December 24th, which is Christmas Eve, once that period is gone, now it's really moving. Now it's really catching new ground, right?
Absolutely.
So,
and then you said the
interesting.
moon is going to be in Sagittarius as well.
right.
A new moon.
So, Friday the 7th is our new moon in Sagittarius. This happens at 1:20 a.m. And, you know, that's why I called it up and away. Sagittarius is it's the sign of, you know, the archer, the arrow, the pointed arrow going at a 45-degree angle that can go as far as it can in a directed aim, right? So it's like this arrow's pointing to a bullseye and the bullseye is far, far away. So and when we have a new moon, right? So the sun
Right.
moved into Sagittarius a little bit ago, and then here comes the moon. So we got this new moon energy. So, you know, expansive, spiritual,
Right.
long distant travel.
And set some plans. Put some plans
They're
in
big, they're
order.
grandiose plans. It's you know, and the fact that Jupiter's there, so the ruler of the moon and the sun, you know, new moon, which means, you know, this happens once a month, where the moon.
I hope you're going to be making talismans during this time.
I am,
Okay,
and I'm going
good.
to tell you the time in talisman times.
Okay.
Hold on there, sister. Where
Okay,
you got your
getting
aim
excited,
going, and you
getting
need to
excited.
go far, fast.
Yep.
Hurried.
Yep. Me and
Okay.
my buddies. The sun, moon, Jupiter, Mercury, we're all heading to Bali.
So as this new moon tells us to think big and to go far, right? It's expansive nature. It's in a square to a combination of Mars, Neptune energy. So yeah, we can act with compassion. We can act with faith. We can act with a magical fantasy that you mentioned. Or we can be delusional and confused. So Friday the 7th, and this is going to occur all day Friday because this comes in at 1:20 a.m. So by the time, you know, you wake up, you're going to have this feeling of, you know, having this great optimism, but the square to the Mars and Neptune kind of will hold back a little bit on, I'm confused. I don't know which direction to go. Where am I going? And if someone comes along in your field and says, hey, go this way, you may just go in that direction. So we really need to stay grounded here and act out of compassion and faith.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
And then to finish up.
and then
in
later,
trans-
and then actually by 8:12 a.m., we get the exact conjunction of the Mars conjunct this Neptune, which is a square to the new moon that happens. So, you know, if Mars is our ego nature, you know, it's our will, it's our motivation, it's our energy, and it's conjunct this this planet Neptune that denies ego. Neptune says, "No,
It's the mystic.
it's the mystic. It's like, yeah, you think you're all
singularity.
important. You
Yeah.
think you're important, do you? Okay, we're going to wash that down. And you know, Mars has to be in Pisces to meet up with the planet Neptune because Neptune's been in Pisces now we were just talking about that for like the last 8 years,
Right.
So, you know, when I wrote Be Selfish and Not Selfish, Mars
Be
wants...
selfish and not selfish, or be
Selfless.
selfless? Okay.
Oh, whoops.
Like, be selfish and not selfish. Ooh, polarity. Kind of.
Because Mars wants independence and wants to do things Mars's way. So that's that selfish kind
Okay.
of movement. But Neptune is compassion, healing,
And not having
peace,
boundaries and
no boundaries, and it says selfless.
I mean, I think that, you know, these coming together is a wonderful expression where, you know, it's Mars is helping give Neptune a little bit more boundary, a little bit more firmness, and, you know, giving it that energy.
Well, it's gonna interact one of two ways, or you can waffle back and forth. But, the two kinds of energies, you're going to serve others. You're going to have action,
Yeah, and that compassion you were talking about.
Yeah, to help others that are in need without expecting compensation of any sort, without expecting a return of your energy, that you're doing it, again, out of selflessness. Or you're going to be irritable, pissy, restless, discouraged, feeling lower than you typically feel. But I will say, this too shall pass.
Yep.
This is just something. So if anyone experiences this on Friday during the day, or actually even coming up into the week, either Wednesday, Thursday, boom, on Friday, it's perfected, and then it'll slowly pass by the end of the weekend. So it's just a weekend to pay attention to, why am I helping you? What is my sole reason to help someone? Because I want to do it from my selfless love. Right.
Absolutely, yeah.
And not get, oh my God, what are you going to do for me now?
Right.
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 It's not that.
The unconditional love.
Is very good. Unconditional love. And so that's in the transits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna bring up some challenges, but I think it's all good.
I mean, it's the holidays, but let's kind of keep in mind that the new moon in Sagittarius is like planting a new seed.
Uplifting, yeah.
It's initiating a new project. And, Jupiter is sitting right there in Sagittarius for the next year, until 1 year from now.
Yeah.
Early December of 2019. So, pinpoint that bullseye. What is it? Because you can reach that by the end of the year, next year.
Yeah. Right. And that actually is a great transition into our next segment, which is talisman times. And I did want to mention that Jupiter in Sagittarius, workshop that we did where everyone came in and they all handmade their beads. Their beads are in Bali, getting finished, being blessed in a Balinese temple, and they're going to be making their way back. However, we did have one of our collaborators. Yeah. Christy, she was over in Bali and she was taking some pictures of the Jupiter and Sagittarius malas that you and I made just for kind of the public. And they look phenomenal.
Wow, they do.
And I'm putting them on the website for pre-sale. So,
and those should be back hopefully before Christmas.
Right.
All of them. So we made a bracelet and we made a mala, a long mala with the Rudraksha and the Rudrani.
Right. And so we paired these particular ones, the ones for the public. We wanted to look a little bit different than the ones, the personals. These have smaller Rudraksha seeds. They look, absolutely gorgeous too. So
check them out on our website. Did you put them up today?
They are on the website.
Yeah, you got that done. Check
mark. Check. I feel accomplished.
Let's go through talisman times. I mentioned 0 talismans. I was like, not a nut, nothing going on. And I'm like, come on, that can't really be true. And I really went in. I've been doing a lot of, as you know, the fixed stars.
Yes.
And
which one is your favorite, by the way?
I don't know. This last month was Spica.
I knew it. I knew
just
it was
sitting
Spica.
right there with Venus. It was just too. It was Venus.
Well, I got to see it too when I was doing my early morning walking meditations.
Right, because they were both. They're still up. You can go out at any morning as long as it's not snowing in your area, like it is right now here. But you will see that around 5:30, 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. Venus is moving away now from Spica, but I grabbed Regulus. So on Thursday, November 29th. At 5:25 a.m., I got the moon was moving with fixed star Regulus. The intention to gain a great deal of success. The affirmation: I rise to the highest height. I watch from the north sky and face my nemesis. Right? We often have to face our nemesis in order to gain success.
Absolutely. And sometimes our nemesis is none other than ourselves.
Yeah. So,
Hello, mirror.
I made one bracelet that morning. I only have a short amount of time when I use the fixed stars. So I did that one. And then the one that's coming up this week is the new moon in Sagittarius. And I've scheduled that for the 6:49 p.m. because we're going to have the Cancers rising over the horizon. And the moon is in the 5th house where the moon likes to be. So this is to increase optimism and personal growth while maintaining a focus. Right? So we're going to keep that pointed arrow from the archer right on our goal.
I like that.
Right? Even though it's far away or it's really huge, big, but increase optimism and personal growth. Who doesn't want some of that?
I'll take it.
Right? So that's what's on the Talisman Times.
Okay, that was short, but they're there. Then we have on the horizon, we are starting up our next constellation bracelet workshop. We are so excited. We have our 8 of 8 seats filled, and
this really does sell out pretty fast. I mean, the majority of these people have been waiting 3 to 4 months for this to start. So I started my 2-hour consults this week to prepare.
Well, really, they're an hour. But they're an hour, but
they go 2 hours.
We're now maybe having to extend that for the future ones.
They're 2 hours now.
Because you don't like to talk at all.
I like clarity, and I want the people to know. I want G and D and M to know how this affects them. And if they're unclear on it, I stay with them until they go, oh, I get it now. And then we move to the next chart. So yeah, I take my time with it.
Right. So the one that's happening December 7th is all sold out. However, I did put up on the website under the Constellation Bracelet and workshop, March 7th date is happening in March, of course.
That's our next one.
It's happening next, yes.
Yeah, that'll be the spring.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that is an open enrollment as of right now. So if you have any questions, of course, let me know. But it is a very, very cool circle of people.
It's personal. We meet 12 sessions, all different times. Depends when the planets are aligning in perfection. We get up out of bed and welcome this in and create and call in an affirmation. But I've got everything. Alex makes these beautiful books. And I got so many compliments from the people I talked to so far this week.
And usually I print them myself, but this time I sent them to an official printer, which was different.
Let's talk about Mercury retrograde. That was in our house. We'll talk about that in our house.
Okay, the Mercury retrograde. Yeah. And then we have our last and final call. So we have one room still available for our Mexico retreat.
I might have filled it today. We'll see.
Okay, well, we have the possibility of a final room for our Mexico retreat. The people that are coming are absolutely beautiful, open-hearted, open-minded.
It's all female.
Yep, all female as of right now, and
we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it that way.
Yeah. Because all you guys just coming in for the girls, we're stopping you there. I'm just kidding. So it's going to be an absolutely transformational retreat. And so can't wait for that.
January 5th through the 12th.
Yes. And then what I'm very, very excited to say is that the Bali retreat is officially open.
You worked on that all day today.
Yes, it is officially open. It is on the website. If you go to intentionbeads.com/events, you'll be able to see it and check out more information there. Of course, we will,
be talking about that all winter long.
Yes, we'll bring some of our favorite stories of our Bali adventures.
I mean, really, who hasn't had that aha thought to travel to the other side of the world and see how they live? Right?
I mean, I guess I never really had that, I never said like, oh, I'm going to go to Bali. I
You're
never
30.
had that.
You're 30.
Okay. True. But once I did, I now have that, I think,
You were actually
incessantly.
26 when you
Right, when I first
actually-
went.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't really even know exactly where Bali was. I didn't know much about it. I only knew like the Eat, Pray, Love scenes that you see there. But even those
But
scenes,
we go to those places.
I know. And we even stayed at
Kutut.
Kutut Lier, his compound.
Yeah, he was there.
He was
laying
there.
in bed. We think he was dead.
Well, yeah, they have some very so incredibly interesting traditions in Bali, and the people are just, I mean,
Simple,
they're beautiful,
simple,
yeah,
and reverent to each other.
and so friendly and like easy to smile at you.
Yeah. One of my things is like, come on. I'm like, come on, share more information. Like when I ask, like, what do people think about this place? Oh, it's nice. I'm like, share more information.
Right.
But the thing about that, they allow us to get into our own experience, and there's no gossip. They do absolutely no gossip. Everything is from your mouth to my ear, stays just there. Mm-hmm. It's so respectful
and pure.
Yeah.
The purity there is incredible, especially because it has become a touristy place to go. However, the people there are, I mean,
And it really,
Still amazing.
they sometimes wear, baseball hats and T-shirts that say Chicago Bulls,
But then they still have their barongs on,
Yeah.
and and it's incredible. I can't wait to go back. And so, yes, that's what I was
Whoops.
first mentioning, is that the Bali retreat is now open for applications.
What are the dates?
Those dates are April
16th
16th
to the 27th.
to the 27th.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Because you don't go to Bali for a short
right,
retreat.
yeah. So
We're gonna do
12 days.
Yeah, 11 nights. We're together. We're doing all kinds of day trips, evening trips, dances,
So much fun.
temples, water ceremonies, fire ceremonies, delicious food, and rice patties. And yeah.
Yes. Yep, of course, get on our email list. I'm going to be sending out that email very soon. Then do we have anything else coming
that's
up
all
on
I
the
got.
horizon? We have our house. Welcome in.
Okay. Can I do a chart real quick?
Of course. Yeah.
Heather has sent me in her birth information because she was looking to see where Jupiter in Sagittarius was going to hit her chart.
Right. That was 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago.
Two episodes ago.
2 episodes.
Right.
And I forgot to do it last week. But I remembered. And really, and Heather, you have one planet in Sagittarius, and that's Neptune. A lot of the natives, let's say, the people that were born in early 1970s, have the Neptune in Sagittarius. So that means Jupiter's going to hit this, which makes this generation more intuitive, more spiritual, more compassionate, more wanting to help,
What's
more
the
artistic.
year?
So it's like 1972 until maybe 1980.
Okay.
Yeah. But Heather, interesting. What's really going on? The other thing I want to mention. So transiting Jupiter will hit your Jupiter. You'll have a Jupiter return December 5th, 2019.
Jackpot.
And that's a really big day.
We love Jupiter returns,
yeah.
just so everyone knows. You do too.
But, of course, I can't look at a chart without looking at other things. Can I talk
Right.
about the transiting Uranus crossing her ascendant? Freedom.
Sure, I'll let it slide.
Freedom reigns. You're breaking old habits. There's something going on in all your relationships that you want liberation. And this happens, you're really feeling it. You felt it a little bit earlier this year. It's going to become really strong in May. So
Awesome.
So all new for you.
Sweet. Well, thanks,
Yeah.
Heather, for sending in your information. I know we had a couple other people. However, just from my travels and getting back and getting reorganized with a new computer, newish computer, I think I might have misplaced some people. So if you can, just resend me those, and I'll
On Instagram.
On Instagram.
Yeah, that's easier to have it go into
Right.
one that I can go find it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have to be very focused and driven of where we direct you guys to give us this information so that we're not looking at all of these different platforms for your birth data. So on Instagram, you can message us with your birth date, all that information. So that's your name, your birth month, day, year, time, location,
City, state.
city, state.
Somebody said on the kitchen table. I was like, that's not exactly what I meant by location.
Dinner's ready. So yeah. So send that on Instagram. So that handle is @intention_beads. And then in our house, we wanted to discuss a couple other things too,
Yeah,
right?
a couple things.
You had a Jupiter-Saturn transit.
Right. So transiting Jupiter, because I have a Saturn at 2 degrees of Sagittarius. So I'm like, how, Saturn is the planet of hard work and responsibilities and authority figures and, earned reward. And so when Jupiter, I'm like, how is that going to play out for me? Right? Because Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So I'm like, what's going on? And remember when I was like saying, like, I'm working from early in the morning to 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
Well, Jupiter expanded my work. Jupiter expanded my Saturn, all my work. I was like overwhelmed with the amount of work I had. But also, I became an A-lister on Southwest Airlines.
Congratulations.
And actually, it's something that I've been working on all year.
Right. I mean, of course, if you know us and if you do follow us on Instagram, we do post a little bit about our luggage, and we have bumper stickers from all of these locations that we've been to. But we love flying Southwest because we have to take our product and our displays, and
We have over 200 pounds
it's
of
200
stuff.
pounds. And to be paying for that in other airlines, it adds up. So we love our Southwest where you get 2 bags per person for free.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
love that. And so I had A-list this past year, so 2018, and now I'm handing you the baton. You
Yeah.
are now the A-lister. You get to walk onto the plane first
And save you a seat.
Save me a seat.
So that's how Jupiter responded by hitting my Saturn. And so I like it. Now it's off. It's off. So I'm gaining ground a little bit. I'm catching up. I also
Right.
wanted to mention that, we sent that big print job that you were talking about that you normally print, but you were with Dr. Joe. You sent it to our local printer that does all our printing for us. And we had Mercury retrograde, and, nothing gets, well, I shouldn't say nothing, but a lot of things get misunderstood in any communication with Mercury retrograde. And I went to pick up the books because I had to literally turn them around and send them out that day. And I opened them up. Thank goodness I did. I'm like, these are all wrong.
Ooh.
All wrong. And it's this pretty thick stack, 40-page booklet that had to be reprinted times 10 times 10. So that was my Mercury retrograde story.
Right. And it was a little liberty that they took upon themselves to just add some blank pages in randomly to the workbook, which completely messed up the feng shui that I made. It totally
They just didn't
swayed my feng.
understand.
It swayed my feng. I was really hoping for some feng shui. Darn it.
They didn't understand.
Yes. Okay. Well, I mean, Mercury's going direct, so all is well.
on Thursday. So things
exciting.
are happening. I wanted to ask because I'm still, we just had that Venus opposition to Uranus, and I asked if you had resolved the break-in, like
Of
the
my car.
computer, the
Right.
your
And so-
possessions.
Right. I mean, if anyone's new to the podcast that didn't hear the story, there was a transit that Sandy, my mom, mentioned on air and said, watch out for things that go bump in the night. And of course,
4 hours later.
4 hours later, after we're recording this podcast, I go to a pool tournament and I walk back out, a few hours later, and then there goes bump in the night. Somebody broke my back window of my car and stole my purse and my laptop that I had hiding back there. So it is resolved 75%. But basically after I, sulked a little bit over,
Woohoo.
cried, weeped,
wailed,
maybe. After I found out that my laptop, my very important new laptop was stolen, I decided to look around the dumpsters just to see if my bag had been, thrown out just, for evidence purposes. But I found 4 other people's bags in one of these dumpsters that I was diving into. And I was able to find the home of 3 of them. I still have one. I'm looking for her. But I think that was a very cathartic thing for me to be able to, because I even tried, bringing the bags to the police station, and I had I looked like a little bag lady coming in there being like, here, take these bags and find their rightful homes, but they were not at all interested in doing that. So they said, you have Facebook, right? So I had to do some digging in their bags and find out a little, and basically put all these clues together, because sometimes there would be either like just an envelope, sometimes there was a receipt from, some dance shoe store. So I just had to put all these things together, and it worked out. My detective skills
and actually,
are 75%
one of the girls,
correct.
One of the girls is like, now your best friend wants to take you out for dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Wants to have you meet all of her friends.
Right. Yeah. She worked in, I guess, like human resources, I guess. She was a social worker. And she just couldn't even believe that somebody would go out of their way to I don't know, return a random bag that didn't necessarily have any valuables in it. But it was funny because, yes, I did have valuables stolen, but my bags and my things and my items that I keep, they're not just replaceable. I don't want to just go to a random store and, pick up the $4.99 replacement. It's like, I got a connection with those things. So, she just was so impressed that somebody would, go the distance and do something for someone else.
And her friends were like, oh my gosh, you got to meet that girl.
You got to meet her.
She
Buy
needs
her
to
a
be your
drink.
friend.
She deserves a drink. So and now that I'm back from England, that'll definitely be happening. So anyway, is there anything else?
No, just that we celebrated. You didn't get the Thanksgiving dinner, and I know my Thanksgiving dinner is your favorite dinner ever.
It is.
And
I tell everyone this. I know I'm biased, but I really, truly believe that you make the best Thanksgiving meal.
And so every year you prove it to a group of friends that happen to be in town or available or new people that we haven't met before.
Yes.
And so we had that a couple days ago, and it was delightful.
Absolutely.
Delicious food, but our Friendsgiving was a beautiful time.
Yes. I think that's the conclusion of our episode today. I don't want to forget, because in the beginning of the episode, I did say that I wanted to extend the offer for the special price for our podcast listeners for astrology readings.
Okay.
You go to www.intentionbeads.com/podcast. You will have the special password of Jazz Fuzz, JAZZFUZZ, and that will get you an awesome discount for a personalized reading with Sandy.
Right, and Jazz Fuzz is our producer's studio here.
Knock, knock, here we are.
Yeah. Anybody wanting to do a podcast?
So that offer is up and it's running, and it's just for you guys, our podcast listeners. So
take advantage of it. It's really truly a beautiful process to get a reading. You know, whether it's a tough time that you're going through or whether it's an enlightening time you're going through, it helps validate and motivate you on where you want to go to next. So it's just about, you know, recalibrating, getting things, you know, down and grounded so that you can take your next steps.
Yeah, just so many aha moments in that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I record it so you can, it can go over your head in places and then you can pull it back down into paper.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that I'm hugely excited for, aside from Mexico, of course, but our Bali retreat. Every single year when we head there, it is like I'm coming home. I'm going home. So so definitely reach out to me if you have any questions on that. However, that's the end of our episode for today.
Thank you for listening.
So happy to be back home with you guys.
This is fun for us. It really is. Let us know what you're getting from this.
Yes. Send us a review on Apple. We would love to hear, you know, what you like. So, au revoir.
See you next week.
We love you. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.